Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
As an expert, this you just mentioned empires and colonialism, and I guess this is what I was wanting to touch on. I think this conversation's been great because it alludes to what we now know as, maybe you could call it, Christian nationalism, and what has dominated, our thoughts about what evangelical is and is not now. And this does affect the world tremendously. I see it regularly. And it's because we're caught in these paradigms or culture wars, and we're not quite sure what to do in the crosshairs. What would be your final encouragement for people who are in this position? Right? They're probably in America. They're probably no. I shouldn't say that. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Right? We all have our own unique issues that are on the forefront of our culture or table. What would be your final encouragement? And I didn't ask you this in advance, so again, spring it to Sonia.
I guess it would just be, and I'm thinking, as you ask that question, I'm thinking of some of the people I've interacted with who are so resistant to and defensive about these kinds of things. And I want to encourage people to adopt a posture of humility rather than defensiveness. I'll use the book Jesus and John Wayne as an example since we talked about it. Lots of people are upset with it, disagree with it, mad about it, or whatever. And that's fine. But why not, instead of saying this is wrong or I disagree or I don't see it this way, after saying that, say, well, but why would someone else see it this way? What would lead them to see it this way or view it that way? That is the humblest thing that we can do. And that is the Christ-like thing to do, is to just ask, what someone else's suffering or perspective is, rather than assume that ours is the only one. And I don't really know why that is so hard for people in this climate to do. Again, I think it's because there's so much defensiveness and fear. Or maybe it is really a lack of character. I don't know. Maybe there is a lack of that kind of humility. But for anyone who's struggling with feeling defensive, or maybe other people who are defensive when it comes to these conversations, just like encourage one another, encourage ourselves to say, well, why do you think this person sees it this way? Yeah. I mean, we all benefit when we ask those kinds of questions. We all increase our understanding. That doesn't mean agreement, but increased understanding of differences of point of view is can only help in our missions and our evangelization.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.